The official GPT Store from OpenAI is coming next week, and they just sent out an email telling us 3 different things we need to do right now to make sure our GPTs are ready to be considered for the GPT Store. So, if you've ever built a GPT, this is a good time to make sure you do these 3 things right now. And being an early mover here is going to be huge, so let me show you exactly how to get your GPTs ready. The first thing OpenAI sent in the email 1, the usage policy and the branding guidelines that I want to cover here. There are a bunch of different things that you just can't do with GPTs. These are the type of GPTs that you're not allowed to build. So you could read through this document, again I'll link this below as well, but things like illegal activities, obviously, generating hateful, harassment, violent content, generating malware. These are very basic things that you pretty much can't do with any public service here. Anything that's fraudulent or deceptive, things like spam and scams and things like that. And let me go down over here because this part I found really interesting. If you're building a consumer-facing GPT, which if you're going to the GPT Store, you are, anything related to medical, financial, and the legal industry in news generation or news summarization, it requires a disclaimer to let people know that AI is used, and there's going to be potential other limitations too. So this is an important one. Automated systems must disclose that the user they're interacting with is using AI. Again, this is something related to disclaimers. And down here, I also found this interesting. So this is the plugin policy, which I'm assuming will be the exact same thing for the GPT policy that have certain things enabled. So plugins usually had actions built into them. Basically, they could connect to other APIs, other services. So here it says, plugin should clearly state a description that matches the functionality of the API exposed to the model. So if you're using GPTs, they have things called actions, which you could connect those actions into other services, other APIs. And if you do that, I'm assuming you'll have to basically follow this set of guidelines over here if you're using any type of actions or APIs. 2. Brand guidelines, right here, GPTs and custom GPTs. Again, this link will bring you to this part of the page. This has other things related to how you would use the ChatGPT branding and logos and things like that. But a couple of things that are worth noting here. If the GPT is part of an existing service and provides all or a subset of the same functionality, we recommend the GPT to be named the same. So whatever the name of that initial service is, they're saying name the GPT the same. Unless it's to provide support, then in that case, you would name it the name of the service and then API helper or something like that. But this part is really interesting. A GPT may not use another organization's trademark or logo unless they are authorized to do so. So I've seen a lot of GPTs already like this, like YouTube Helper. YouTube is a registered trademark of Google, right? So you're not going to be able to use YouTube or Google Helper or something like that, or Facebook Helper. GPTs should use a short name appropriate to display in the GPT sidebar. But this part is really interesting. Having a GPT's name end with GPT is discouraged but not prohibited. So you can name your GPT like Helper GPT, but they're asking you not to do that. For number 2, you need to verify what's called the builder profile. So let me show you how that works. Press your profile name down on your GPT, but you need GPT-4 to build custom GPTs. And you're going to need to do this if you want to be submitted to the GPT Store. So I'm assuming you already have GPT-4 if you're watching this. But press this profile picture, and right here there is something called Settings and Beta. And right over here you should have an option called Profile Builder. And there are 2 different things you could do here. First, you need to make sure your name is visible over here. So this needs to be checked on, but you could also link to a website over here. So let me show you how that works. If you click this and you press Verify New Domain, basically what you could do is type in a new domain and then submit that domain, and it's going to give you some code to verify that domain. So I'll do that right now again, and it's going to give you this text here, this OpenAI verification text, and this is a TXT record. And if you're using some kind of a domain registrar like GoDaddy, for example, you could add a TXT record. If it's a little bit too complicated for you to do this, you could always hire a developer. This was very simple, takes less than 5 minutes. But someone does need to add a TXT record to your DNS provider, which is where you bought your domain from. So GoDaddy is the biggest domain provider. You would add that there, and then you will have to check it here to verify. And if you want the website to show up instead of your name, you need to make sure the website here is turned on to green after you verify it. So this builder profile does need to be set up because they need to tie a GPT to a specific person or a company here. And these two different options let them do that. And it's also a great way, by having your domain there, it's a great lead generation. That's why I'm going to use a lot of the GPTs that I've built, that I'm going to try to get into the App Store, or the GPT Store are going to be for lead generation, to basically share my knowledge. So then people could click that link and land on my website. And the third thing you need to do is, if you go to the Explore tab right here, you're going to come to My GPT. So this is where you could create a GPT, but these are the ones I've built before, and you could load more. I've built quite a lot over here, but with any GPT, you could save them 3 different ways. Privately, where you see a little lock icon and only me, you could save it where it says anyone with a link. So it's not technically public, but anyone with a link could use it, and there are public ones. So here's a public one, you see it says public. So what you need to do is, whenever you build a GPT, even the ones you've built previously, you need to save it publicly. So let me show you that on a private one. Here's a private one. I'm going to go and click on it and edit that GPT. And over here on top, where it says save, you need to change it from only me to public. You need to make sure this is public. It says GPTs may appear in the GPT Store coming soon, and then confirm that. And if I view that GPT now, it's public. And you could see the URL, the domain that I verified. It shows up just like this over here. And this is a really useful way, again, for people. If they click this, they're going to go directly to my website when they use this GPT. So this is the best time to have early mover advantage. So if you've been building GPTs, make sure you do those 3 things and get them ready. If you haven't been building them, this is a great time to build them, to get them ready for the GPT Store next week.